Okay, so you should have watched the first lesson from the Steve Blank Udacity course. Let me know if you have any issues signing up or viewing the lecture. You can put that in the discussion board about clarifications. Should be pinned in your Canvas site. Um, I'm using these videos as basically a substitute for a textbook. We'll modify the use of them. As I explain in the Canvas site, if you watch all of the videos and take the quizzes and show that you complete all of that, you'll get some extra credit. But the structure that he uses at Stanford is a little bit different from ours, so we'll modify it. So we will be using the business model canvas. The nice thing about that is that it can change over time, and it feels very easy to make changes. We will not use this software called Launchpad Central. He lists optional reading, and that's that's an option for you. But again, you do not need to read that for any of the quizzes. You can get the book, The Startup Owner's Manual. I have a couple copies if you want to look at it here in my office. But you don't have to have that for this class. One of the things I want you to think about is, when do you think that you're going to use these skills? I know it's really easy to get very much engrossed in what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, and I know you want to graduate, and so you kind of put your head down and say, okay, I got to take these classes. But just step back for a second and think about, in your future jobs, and some of your jobs, like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, those jobs might not even exist currently. I want you to think about that. But even in the future jobs that you have right after you graduate, how many papers do you think you're going to write? That's one of the things that you do a lot of in college. How many exams are you going to take? Now, some of you are going to graduate school. Maybe you're going to be taking some exams, or you're going to get a professional certification. And how many textbooks are you going to read? Think about that. Now, I don't use textbooks. I think that you're probably not going to be doing a lot of writing papers, taking exams, and textbooks. Some of the key activities that you do in college. But I am pretty confident that many of you will be having to figure out how to develop new products and services, satisfy needs that are not being met well, and you're going to want to do that without wasting time and money. So this is my case to you, that you will need these skills, and you will use them again, whether you're an entrepreneur, which is kind of what we're focusing on, or if you're working in a company and you're trying to do things, develop new products and services. And so this picture here is a picture of a cake pop place, and it's just meant as a prompt for a story that I want to tell you. I take my kids sometimes on dates to try to talk to them, and I remember going to a place in Green Valley near where we lived, a cake pop place, and it was very, the lady who was running it had done a really good job of presenting these cake pops, and they looked really nice, and the fixtures in the place were nice. It was very attractive, but there was no one there. And whenever I come across places like that, and I see a lack of customers, I don't know about you, maybe it's because of my background, but I really feel for people, and I worry that this place is going to fail, and the people are going to lose a lot of money. All that investment of time and money, it's really painful to fail. And so I want to help with this class help you develop a few skills so that maybe you can avoid that. So when you're trying to develop something, you don't know exactly who the customers will be, what features you need, or the best way to deliver it. I'm hoping that you'll be able to test an idea on a low budget. And so this course is using this Lean Startup methodology, and we rely on Steve Blank for a lot of the content. Because again, failure can be really so painful. We're trying to make it so that you can fail and in a less painful way because you put less time and less money into it. Okay, so this is the business model canvas that you have seen and will see with Steve Blank. This is the example of the jersey rental idea. You'll see again as he showed you, there's 9 components to the business model canvas. They're arrayed in a particular way. You'll see different color sticky notes. This is to represent like working with sticky notes. Now this is a digital form that you can use, but they represent different types of customers. So here, sports jersey owners and single game attendees. For this business model, they need to provide value for both those that own the sports jerseys and those that attend the games and want to use the sports jerseys. So those are the 2 customer segments and the 2 value propositions. And they have 2 different revenue streams from them. Okay, so we'll be using this business model canvas. I'll explain it more in detail later. And basically he proposes, and we're going to review this later, that you follow this customer discovery process, and we will do this. So first you state a testable hypothesis, and just think of this as kind of a lab class. You state a testable hypothesis. So here's an example from a wayfinding app that one of my teams was developing a few years ago. Their hypothesis was, well, at least 10% of UNLV students get lost on campus. So then you go out and you test the problem by doing interviews, and you talk to a lot of people. The more people, the better. And you do it. We're going to have a format of how you do this in a way that's kind of rigorous, and you ask questions, and then you listen without explaining your solution to see, is there really this problem? And then you can see, we'll use some numbers to try to quantify how many people really have the problem based on the interviews. And then we're going to go out and try to test the solution. So you're going to develop something, and might have to be simple, and you're going to go out and try to sell. And collect data in the process so that you can see if you can sell and improve in a better way. And then with that data, you're going to either verify that you're on the right track or that you need to pivot and do something different. So that's the customer discovery process that we will do in this class. And we're going to, by the end of the course, I hope that you will be very comfortable with this idea. One of the key concepts from class is the idea of pivots. So if you know anything about basketball, a pivot in basketball is when you can move around, but you have to keep one foot on the ground. You can move the other foot. And that allows you to move, but you're not just running. And so this is the same with an idea. You don't have to totally change your idea, but you got to change something. So maybe the customers you thought would really care don't care, so you have to kind of pivot who you're going to talk to, which type of customers. Maybe the features you thought mattered really don't, so you have to include different features. Maybe they won't pay for your solution, so you have to figure out a different solution. Or maybe they're looking for a solution in a place that you didn't think that they were looking, so you got to figure out a different way of getting your solution in front of customers. Those are all pivots, so you're changing one component or maybe a couple components of the business model, but not everything at once. It's a key concept. Okay, the last concept is I want you to think about hypotheses. How do you define a hypothesis? Well, it has to explain something and it has to be able to be tested. Okay, so we're going to work on this and we're going to try to be more precise in explaining hypotheses. Thanks.